And for further analysis on President Al-Sisi's European tour, we're joined from Cairo by Ambassador Gamal Bayoumi, the former Assistant Foreign Minister. Mr. Ambassador, thank you very much for joining us here on Q News. Let me ask you first, how does President Al-Sisi's European tour strengthen Egypt's diplomatic ties with Denmark, Norway and Ireland?
It is very important because, as you well know, this is the first visit of head of state of Egypt to visit those three countries. And of course, they are partners in the association agreement between Egypt and the European Union. We signed in 2004 with 15 countries. Now they are 27. And they became, since then, our first trade partner, first development assistance. And our exports to this group increased by 4 times. So, and I think that Egypt is a first partner with Europe concerning trade and investment. So I am happy as an old diplomat to see my president is very active. From day to day, he is either visiting other countries or receiving his counterparts in Cairo, or phone calls going and coming back. So we have very active diplomacy nowadays. And I think we are benefiting from this in trade, in investment, in also the human resources, because we have a big community in the European Union, more than 1.5 million inhabitants. It is a good source of foreign currency. And we have not only the money assistance of projects, no, we have a huge program to help the Egyptian government institutions by twinning it with the European counterpart. We started by the Central Bank of Europe with 8 central banks from different countries in Europe. We visited the maritime safety because, as you well know, we have 68,000 ships. We want to make sure that they are floating quite safely. We visited the railways, and we make sure that it is going quite well. We visited the roads and the bridges. Do you have a car?
Yes. Well, Your Excellency...
Wait a minute. Look to the numbers of your car, because these numbers are coming as development assistance from Europe. It is German, by the way. So we are following the system of transport in Europe also.
Your Excellency, other than the economic cooperation, what specific diplomatic goals did President Al-Sisi aim to achieve during his visit to Europe?
He wants to deepen the relations. He wants to widen it. And we want to attract more direct investment, because, as you well know, our savings is not enough to cover all our aims for development. So we are looking forward to our Egyptians living abroad, to the Arabs, and then to the European. And of course, the European have the technology. And this is what we are seeking. Another thing that he is making a sort of promotion for investment in Egypt by the reality that Egypt is member in 3 big free trade areas. The Arab Free Trade Area, of course. Then we have the African Union Free Trade Area, 51 countries, and the European Union Free Trade Area, and with some few countries in Latin America. So the message is, if you come and invest in Egypt, then you will be addressing a market of 2,000 inhabitants. This is number 1. Number 2, if you come and invest in the Suez Canal zone, then you are coming nearer and nearer to your markets in Far East, whether it is Japan or China or Taiwan, Korea, and so on.
Yes.
So we have many things to attract foreign direct investment, and I think we are in a good position in order to do that. All we need really to make our homework, to make our bureaucracy much more better than what we are doing now, our banking system to make it much better, and so on.
Mr. Ambassador, now, how will Egypt's relations with the European countries evolve following President Al-Sisi's European tour? Are you expecting more of the same, or are you expecting some sort of a shift in the direction or the dynamics between Egypt and the European countries?
At the beginning of our revolution, we were not yet recognized by all our partners. And then during an international meeting, our president met Angela Merkel. Then she immediately, the chemistry work, the personal chemistry is very important in the diplomatic relations also. Mm-hmm. So the ambassador, the German ambassador who was in charge to prepare for the visit of our president to Berlin, he came to me to address some questions, and he said the chemistry between Angela Merkel and President Abdelfattah El-Sisi became immediate. Same thing I heard concerning the relation between our president and the president of France, the president of Russia, and President Trump. He welcomed him during his first session. Mm-hmm. So I see that we are doing quite well, and we add to our efforts of diplomacy that we were lacking the presidential level in our diplomacy. Now we restore it. So we gain a lot behind this.
Mm-hmm. Your Excellency, regarding the developments taking place within the whole region now, how did the European tour help Egypt address regional issues such as the situation in Gaza, Syria, and the broader Middle East?
We have a very sad story here. We are not in good health at all in the Arab world. Thank God that Egypt and some Gulf countries plus Algeria or Morocco are in good shape. So we are trying to help our brothers in Gaza, in Lebanon, in Syria. Libya is not in good health. Sudan is not in good health. Yemen, which is a part of the Arab League, is becoming a sort of threat to the navigation in the Red Sea and the Suez Canal. And above all, the problem of the aggression of the Israelis against Gaza. And unfortunately, on the international level, we are not in a good shape because of the veto. Mm-hmm. The last voting in the Security Council, 14 members of the 15 were with us, and one vote only stopped taking the decision. So all these contacts is discussing this matter, which I am concerning about, and I think that we are gaining the support gradually of our friends in the European continent. Mm-hmm. And at least we are making a sort of a pressure against this aggression of Israel everywhere in our place, whether against Syria now, against Gaza, against Lebanon.
Your Excellency, one final question now. Also, what's taking place in the Russian-Ukrainian conflict? Do you think that this topic or this issue, this file, has been on the agenda of any of the talks of the President and his counterparts?
I always say that anything comes to an individual like myself or yourself, it must be on the table. So on the international level, I already mentioned the failure of the United Nations system. Ukraine is a big headache to us. The conflict between United States and China, commercially, and even between United States and their partners in the European Union, because they are fighting each other. And the coming President Trump, he promised to impose more taxes against exports from China or from Europe.
Yes.
It is a big headache to us because we cannot tolerate being in the middle of this. Mm-hmm. So all these questions, of course, are discussed in such a way. And we are giving our hand as an unaligned country to help whatever we can do in order to make our life much better.
From Cairo, that was Ambassador Gamal Bayoumi, the former Assistant Foreign Minister. Thank you very much, sir, for joining us.